today, Miss Preeti Pawar. Miss Preeti Pawar is the headmistress of Mahatma Education Society, Chembur English High School and Junior College. She is a postgraduate in English literature as well as education. She has presented many research papers at national level and also has been the resource person at various workshops and seminars. She is associated with SWA, which is a social organization working towards the girl child and underprivileged women. She very strongly believes that to be successful in anything, you have to have a passion for it. And her greatest strength lies in connecting with her students and bringing out the best in them. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Carol, for such a wonderful introduction. Respected Dr. Reddy Francis, ma'am, all other participants, the teachers, and everybody who's gathered here today. My name is Preeti Pawar, and I'm associated with Chembur English High School and Junior College. And it's indeed my pleasure to be part of this virtual international conference on sustainable practices in higher education. And without further ado, I would like to start my presentation. Give me a minute while I share my screen. Yes, am I audible? Because I think I was signed out.
You're audible, ma'am.
Yeah, okay, thank you so much. All right. So we're talking about sustainable practices in higher education. And before we begin that, we need to first understand what is sustainable development. So a World Commission on Environment and Development in 1987 gave out a definition saying that sustainable development can be defined as development that meets the need of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. So basically it is what we are using today, what we are doing today does not affect what the future generation needs, and it does not deteriorate more further into it. So these are, at a glance, these are the sustainable development goals given by the UN, and we have 17 sustainable goals, which can be further divided into further 3 dimensions, which I'm going to talk about. But as we say, as we see, the first one is no poverty, zero hunger, good health and well-being, quality education, reduce inequalities. So these are the goals which we wish to achieve, or which we wish to achieve through higher education. So moving further, as I said, that there needs to be a balance between the 3 dimensions to achieve these sustainable development goals. And the 3 dimensions are environment, economic, and social. So when we talk about the environment, we talk about the economic status, and we talk about the social status of the place where we are staying in. So talking about the economic sustainability, it is basically the ability of the economy to support the people economically and to support economic production and whatever is related with factories, with industries, how economically we are sustainable, how we are not using the resources and exhausting the resources completely so that the future generation does not get any resources, like we are having shortage of water, or we see what is happening to fuel prices, to oil prices. All these things need to be taken into consideration now. As we said that maybe in the year 2050, water would be given. Yesterday I saw a skit where they said that water would be given in droppers. Water has become expensive. I remember as a kid, I never had to buy water. we used to carry water from home, but now water is being sold at different rates in malls and wherever we need to go. So that means water, which is a free resource, has also been given a cost and has been labeled as something which we need to buy. So these are the when we talk about economic sustainability, we're talking about poverty, we're talking about zero hunger, we're talking about good health and well-being. So we talk about all these goals which we need to achieve through our higher education, or through ways in which higher education can come up with ideas, incorporate these goals into a teaching learning process, and this further it out to the students who they can again take it up as a challenge. The next pillar or the next dimension is the environment sustainability, which is concerned with the protection of environment, preserving environmental resources, maintaining environmental quality to ensure that they continue to be available for the upcoming generation. So that's, as I said, that we talk about water, we talk about electricity, we talk about fuel. Everything is interconnected. When it is connected to the economy, it is connected to the environment, and it is further connected to the well-being of people around us. And how in education we can bring about changes, how we can help in sustaining all these dimensions of the SDGs so that the future generation benefits from it. So these are the environmental SDGs, where we talk about clean water and sanitation, we talk about affordable and clean energy, responsible consumption and production, climate change, life below water, and life on land. So as we talk about responsible consumption and production, how much wastage of food do we do? If the canteen of TCS, my husband works for TCS, and in his canteen, they have a poster there wherein they every day they updated saying that so many kg of food was wasted by you yesterday. So the every day upload that numbers. It like yesterday you wasted 20 kgs of food, which could have been used to feed maybe 40 families. So this is what they, so that is creating some kind of awareness, so that food is not being wasted, and so we consume it responsibility. So usually when we are going into a buffet service, or we go to a wedding where we fill in our plate with a lot of food, and then most of the things we don't even eat them, and then it goes into wastage which can be further utilized through some or the other way. So it's talking about responsible consumption. It's talking about clean water and sanitation. If we have watched the movie Toilet Ek Prem Katha, wherein the sanitation was such a big issue there, where the villagers did not have toilets in their home. And there were time slots given to ladies going to the forest, and then the gents going to the forest. So it was like during the wee hours of the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, they go to to use the washrooms, to the jungle or to the fields. So these kind of things which need to be brought into account, or which need to be changed through some or the other reason. So this awareness can always be created only by addressing the students and making them think about how they can bring about this change. The third pillar, which talks about the social sustainability, which includes preserving the equity, social equity, maintaining cultural identity, uh, equality in human rights, and ensuring social well-being of the people, social inclusion. Just before me, Sir was talking about how we can preserve our cultural heritage. This all, until unless we don't preserve it and we don't pass it on to the new generation, it is going to die down as coming years in future. Bring it goes on deteriorating. The culture which we have deteriorates if we do not pass it on. And the channel to pass it out is through education, is through passing it on to the new generation. So having such activities which would involve the student fraternity in bringing about that change and in passing it on to the future generation. Talking about gender equality, I just spoke about say about the salary packages of the same profession, about men and women, the difference in the gender. quality education to be given at all levels. Now, if in Mumbai, BMC has come up with CBSE board, they're coming up with ICSE board. So trying to give quality education to the needy or the people who need it at a very sustainable cost. So these kind of things need to be brought into the system, and higher education is one platform which can be brought into focus for achieving these goals. So, as I said, the three dimensions, the environment, the economy, and the social dimension, that is human health and well being, is going to improve the quality of life of people. And all these three dimensions can be catered to or can be addressed through education and only education. And higher education is one such platform wherein the level of maturity level of the students is high, wherein they can observe what is being taught to them, and they can also dispense it further to the next generation. So how we are going to do it through education? As I said, by dispensing of the knowledge. You pass on the knowledge, you create awareness among students, you give them information so that that information can be used further. So passing on of knowledge, developing certain skills of rainwater harvesting to save water, to save energy. So working on the skills of the students at higher education level, which would further enable sustainability, teaching them values of our culture, of our heritage, of respect, of tolerance to each other. So when until these values are not taught, the interest would not arise. Changing, trying to bring about the desired change in the attitude of people, which can be done at a level. And as these, when you work on the knowledge, skills, values, attitude, automatically the behavior of a person changes. It becomes as a habit of switching off the tube lights when you're leaving the classroom and going, or shutting down the tap when you do not use the water. So this becomes a behavioral changes once you put in those values, when the attitude changes and you develop the skills and the knowledge is being dispensed. So this is how it is going to work. So what we can do is, so there's an urgent need for bringing the change in the system through higher education and through committed and strong approaches in order to save our country's resources for the future. So what can be done here is, there can be, we can adopt ICT to expand the access to quality education. So how can ICT be used to educate to the masses, especially in the areas where there is a lack of specialized knowledge providers? Now, ICT can act as a cost-efficient tool to achieve the desired goal. The knowledge can be disseminated to ICT to maybe to, so now we are living in the era of online learning, wherein ICT is the only way to dispense the knowledge. So it not only ensures high quality and global accreditation but of information, but it also provides for international collaborations. Like we have this virtual conference through ICT, we are able to have so many speakers around for a year, and the benefit is being passed on to the participants who have attended this conference. The next, what we can do is implementation of transformative education. So what is transformative education? Instead of transmissive education, where you're just transmitting knowledge, you are having transformative education. Education, it is involving teaching and learning geared to motivate and empower learners so that they take more informed decisions and actions at the individual, community, and global levels. So it's not just giving knowledge, it is making them aware of what knowledge has been given to them so that they themselves can rationally think and analyze and facilitate accordingly. What else can be done? We can have initiative of curriculum greening, basically because of industrialization and automation and modernization. What is happening is the environment is facing many hazards. So somebody has to take up the onus of bringing about the change, and who better than the universities who are committed to education can help in environment protection, which includes action plans in their campuses, can make changes in their curriculum, involve research and other activities, and things like that, which can help in green curriculum or greening of the curriculum. They can also be focused on research orientedness. So like having more research oriented in your university, focus on the fundamental areas of sustainability, like biosciences, energy conservation, environment, infrastructural management, or how we can conserve the natural resources, some kind of policies to be made, some kind of programs to be made. Some kind of unconventional area of education can be taken into focus, and research grants and research can be promoted in this way. Encouraging students for thematic research. Now, what is a thematic research? Thematic research aims to promote interdisciplinary research, address the societal problems faced by the people, to promote students in various disciplines to collaborate, to focus on grave issues, to form links between communities at large, to solve society problems. These can be done at the higher education level. Providing financial resources for sustainability. So if our national objective is of sustainability, then higher education, there has to be sufficient availability of resource base as well. So resources have to be allotted. If we want to do research, if we want to bring in some change, there needs to be some kind of resource available, maybe monetary resource or infrastructural resource. So higher education institutes can generate revenue through some or the other way, and then this resource can be allotted towards research and bringing about sustainability. So that's about sustainability, or what as teachers or as teacher educators or as students, what we can do to bring about to achieve sustainable goals through higher education. And these environmental problems are going to be ever increasing, and it would be rising, and this is creating a threat to the well-being of the future generation. And higher education becomes a very, very powerful tool for promoting this sustainable development. It helps to highlight, it can be used to highlight the problems faced by the society, to address them through some other method, or interdisciplinary research, or we can have an curriculum which can be used to empower them. Various approaches can be implemented at the university level as they are dealing with higher order thinking and people who can think and bring about change. So that's it about higher education and sustainable goals. Just stop sharing my screen here. Yeah. All right. Thank you. So that was what I had prepared and planned to speak to you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Pawar, for that wonderful presentation.